Muhammad Mosque, which is off of Linwood, and Burlingame, which is the oldest mosque, oldest African American Muslim congregation here in the state of Michigan. What we're going to do is I'm going to call up firstly our staff attorney, CAIR Michigan staff attorney Lina Masri, who's going to read a very brief statement, and then we're going to have Mr. Mike Kelly, who's a peace activist, a community activist. He's also affiliated with the Amnesty Group here in Detroit. He will be reading some statements. And then we have Mr. Ron Scott, who is with the Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality, who has been monitoring this case very closely lately, as well as he has been in contact and discussions with the Abdullah family. And we also have Grace, who will make a brief comment from the Interfaith Council for Peace and Justice, which is based in Ann Arbor. And after that, then we will avail ourselves to any questions. Just from the start, we did not plan this in the planning of this press conference, we did not plan it intentionally to relate on the same day with the arrangements that were going on downtown. That was actually it's inconsequential. It had nothing to do with the planning of today's press conference. In regarding to the criminal charges that are being discussed right now in court against the people who were arrested, although the shooting of the imam is related to those raids or arrests, for the purpose of this conversation, we're discussing this letter, which does not address any of the allegations in the criminal affidavit in regard to those who were arrested. So we won't be discussing those at this press conference. With that, let me turn the microphone over to CAIR Michigan Staff Attorney Lina Masri.
Could you please, before you begin, say and spell your name so we get the graphics right?
My name is Lina Masri, L-E-N-A-M-A-S-R-I. I'm the staff attorney with CAIR Michigan, the Council on American Islamic Relations. A letter was sent yesterday by a number of advocacy organizations in Michigan requesting the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division to launch a thorough investigation into the recent death of Imam Luqman Abdullah during an FBI raid. The serious nature of a religious cleric being killed by multiple gunshots, 18 gunshots according to family members, in and of itself necessitates a need for further investigation outside the auspices of the FBI. The letter which was sent raises very direct issues that we feel must be clarified for the sake of transparency, so that it may serve to begin the healing process among many within the African American and Muslim communities who lack trust in the methods and actions of the FBI.
Mr. Mike Kelly.
Thank you. My name is Mike Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, and I'm speaking for myself, but also for many people from various aspects of the faith community in southeastern Michigan. And I'd like to say that support for the request of CAIR Michigan for a thorough investigation into the troubling aspects of the death of Imam Luqman Abdullah is not based on certainty of any wrongdoing, but rather arises out of questions which persist in many minds throughout the community. It's not ultimately based on mistrust, so much as on a recognition that trust is so valuable, and especially in these times, that it's worth nurturing even when that is not a popular sentiment. CAIR's initiative is not ultimately, in my opinion, a Muslim issue. It is not only an African American matter, nor is it cultural, nor social, nor even about any specific individual alone. It's more universal. It is a matter of human rights. However, I do believe that it is also a matter of security. I believe that CAIR is acting in the interest of the security of us all, Because to fulfill its promise and its ideals, our society must seek for mutual respect for each other and for the laws under which we live and to which we look for protection. Whatever weakens those bonds and corrodes that trust is a threat to us all. No one can deny that hateful ideas and violent men exist. However, I suggest that a judicious enforcement of rightful laws and a transparent review of the enforcers of those laws when necessary is altogether appropriate, because that will establish the best environment which will give lie to hate speech, hate thought, and will blunt the attraction of those who would prefer to do wrong rather than good. Much of our security as a society derives from individuals in our communities supporting each other, and in our diverse communities supporting the common good. I'm sorry to say, but I think it's true, that especially since September 11, 2001, the American Muslim community has been wrongly stereotyped as being foreigners, followers of alien values, and even as terrorist sympathizers. For even longer, the African American community has been likewise treated as if somehow not integral to the life of our nation. I think it is not being critical, but rather being honest and, in fact, even helpful for CAIR to recognize these cancerous realities, and that CAIR is acting in a service for us all in seeking to provide a measure of prevention against the harm which can come from this kind of unraveling of the social compact. In 1968, the Reverend Martin Luther King spoke at Grosse Pointe High School. A much younger me was present, and I heard him say the following: ultimately, a genuine leader is not a seeker for consensus, but a molder of consensus. And on some positions, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? The conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must do it because it is right. And it is in this spirit that individuals from several faith traditions and communities have made public our concern. We see the need for a transparent, thorough, and credible investigation into the death of Imam Luqman. We note that CAIR Michigan is not prejudging the results of the investigation. We agree that asking for investigation by a responsible agency other than those directly involved in the event is altogether appropriate, in order to avoid even the appearance of an attempt to distort the facts and, intentionally or not, to defame the Muslim community. We applaud CAIR Michigan in being specific about detailing objective matters of fact to be reviewed. They're not calling for a witch hunt. They're not endorsing a sham which would meet predetermined findings. They are seeking answers. And we hope that the government will take up Dr. King's challenge and choose courage over expediency. Just 3 days ago, by coincidence or perhaps through some other agency, the annual meeting of Friends Committee on National Legislation, which is the advocacy branch of the Religious Society of Friends, also known as Quakers, issued an epistle encouraging further engagement with American Muslims. And this was a reflection of their belief that there is something of God in everyone, and to the tradition of putting faith into action by engaging in a hopefully helpful way in the troubling issues of the day. It also, I believe, speaks to our purpose this afternoon. Now, I will close by including words of President Barack Obama spoken in Cairo last June, which began that epistle. We have the power to make the world we seek, but only if we have the courage to make a new beginning, keeping in mind what has been written. In the Quran, we have made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. In the Talmud, The Torah is for purpose